So it's quite obvious that for you, it's very important to look after your body as well as looking after your mind. And imagine that for you as well, you would like to find something that combines the two. Well, I started many years ago having that intuition, like most of you, that I wanted to do something physical. So I was just practicing yoga, I was doing different types of exercises like swimming, running. Then I was also meditating, was doing all of this, but it felt very much like I was doing a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that. So there was a real sense of being a little bit disjointed, and that was causing me some frustration. But then I thought, well, maybe it's just me. This is one of my patterns. I'm just, the eternal unsatisfaction that you always want to thrive for more and better. So then I'll carry on. And what happens was I had an accident. And when I had this accident, I couldn't do anything with my body. I needed a few months of recovery. And then my osteopath, very wisely, said to me, why don't you try Pilates? Because Pilates is really good when you have anything structural or muscular. It can really help. So I started going to a gym for Pilates. But one day I went to the classes slightly earlier because I'm so punctual that sometimes I'm 5 minutes early. And then I just peeped through the window and saw what the people were doing before the Pilates class. And what it was amazing is that they were just doing very little. They were just standing there and didn't seem to be doing very much. And I looked at the timetable and it said, I couldn't even pronounce it. So I waited till they came out and I grabbed the last person there and I said, what were you doing there? And she looked at me with this blissful smile and said, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it makes me feel great. So I thought, well, that's interesting. Then I found out that it was called Qigong. Qigong, also known as Qigong. Some people say know as Qigong or Qigong. Qigong is the cultivation of Qi. Gong means cultivation, Qi, life force. But it's life force with something else. And basically I started practicing and I started feeling much better. It helped me with my recovery. But sooner or later I started feeling that frustration came back. And I was like, what's going on? I'm doing Qigong, it feels really good, but also doing yoga, I was doing swimming. Every time I went to a retreat, I started going to retreats. Every time I went to retreat, I came back feeling really different, really special. And then after a few days, I was back feeling frustrated, feeling the old kind of negativity, feeling my self-esteem was low. So there were still things that what happens is nothing seemed to have a long-term effect. Everything was a little bit too kind of, yes, it was good for a while, and then kind of fizzing and disappearing. And I was describing my frustration to a colleague, and she said, well, I have a feeling that you need to find another teacher, a Qigong teacher. And I did find him. And that was 5 years ago. I had tried many different styles of Qigong until then, but when I found this style of Qigong, I realized that this is what my intuition was telling me. Because in this style of Qigong, he was teaching us to see what the nature of human life is. And the nature of human life is, of course, is health and well-being. We all feel great. When we feel great, it's great, but it kind of doesn't live for too long. So there was what was missing? What was missing? The missing link was growth. And you say, well, how do you go about growth? Well, as here we have many people who know lots of things about growth, but the way that he was describing growth to me, and this is his teachings, and this is what I teach now, I've been teaching for a few years, is that in the same way as you look at nature, and you look at, or physically, you want to have a good stretch. When you have a good stretch, then it's outside. But how about inside? Growth is to have a good stretch inside. It's looking into your heart. It's connecting to mind, to your heart. And it's really, once you feel that you are healthy, that your energy levels have improved, that you feel lots of stamina, lots of stability, lots of feeling really great, you're saying, but what is this? What is this growth then? The growth is what has to happen inside. And what happens inside is that you can go to this dark corner, well, or that drawer where you put always the stuff that you don't want to look at. But it's looking at the stuff that you don't want to look at that you really can grow. And I think connecting with Jen on her journey of kind of looking and it's like, what is this happening? And Freya, the same, you were saying that you've seen so much about all your life in this experience of ayahuasca. But then you can also do this and go in and look into your patterns, the patterns of consciousness that are the ones that you really want to change. If you change that, then you start growing. And we are designed to grow. We are these special beings that have this internal as well as external growth. And in the same way as you see a tree, and the tree will be producing leaves all the way through life, we want to be producing leaves all the way to life. We want to be looking at all these dirty bits that we don't like, bringing them out, accepting them, but also saying, yeah, but I can do something about this. Can you imagine? You can do something about that. And then suddenly, that toxicity, like a very good tree, you can send it down, and it can be the fertilizer for this beautiful tree. So it's still with you, but instead of being a toxic inside you, it can be really the fertilizer you put in your roots, so you can really spread and keep growing, keep stretching and keep enjoying life inside as well as out. But this Qigong that I teach is a very holistic system. It's a system of knowledge based on ancient wisdom, based on modern science, based on contemporary philosophy, based on all of these different aspects of life, and it's all brought together and put in a very simple and clear steps. This teacher has designed a new style of Qigong for the modern era, for the 21st century. And it involves not just the physical, the mental and the emotional. We can deal with everything at the same time, but we need the tools. You have the tools, then you can really work on yourself at your own pace. Instead of having a one night when you can see your life and look at so many things, you can see also bits and bits every single week, and working on them is slowly and gentle. Because we need to love ourselves. As you were saying, we need to love ourselves. It's not just like be dramatic. For some people, the shaking of the drama of the shaking is very important. But for others, we just want something to be gentle, because life can also be quite extreme and quite painful. So how about being gentle to yourself and then give yourself the strength? So basically you can replenish with more and more vitality, called Qi. And as you do that, then you're more able to shed light on these bits that you don't like, and then start changing them one by one, very simply. So this teacher is coming to Brighton in 3 weeks. He's doing a weekend workshop here, but I mean, and it's all there if you want to see. I also teach it regularly. It's a very deep, holistic style of Qigong that encompasses all of these different aspects of life, and you can do it lying down, sitting down, or standing up. So imagine you're very tired, you practice lying down. So you're okay to just sit. That you're feeling all right, you can stand up. So it's very versatile, and you can be dealing with all your aspects of life. And what I've noticed is that suddenly, when I started practicing this, I didn't feel that disjointment of having been doing this for this and that for that, but there was a sense of everything was unified in one system in a very coherent way. So I was looking after my body, looking after my mind, all integrated in one beautiful way. So this is it. Great, thank you. Keep growing, keep growing.